Day one of the America's Cup. It didn't disappoint. One race each to Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, and the defender Emirates, Team New Zealand. I think this is the best possible outcome we could have hoped for. Well, if you love sailing, it is. I think there's going to be a lot of people talking about the America's Cup, and this is the AC Chat and Wrap Show. My name's Nick Douglas. So awesome to be with you tonight. A little bit of a delay because racing was out on course E today. There was a bit of excitement. Took a little while for everyone to get back into the city, of course, to do the post-race press conferences. And everyone is keen to get a bit of the action, given that we have one win apiece. Now, a little bit of fun history for you. The first time that it was 1-1 on day one of the America's Cup was in 1962. Pretty exciting. It was actually Weatherly versus the Jock Sturrock entry that was Australian. And they actually passed them using an America's Cup, an American spinnaker cloth on their way downwind, which was pretty amazing. So it was backed by Sir Frank Packer, representing the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron. So we've been involved for a while, the Australians. And it was the first time that a country from the Southern Hemisphere had actually been declared the challenger. So that was an exciting year, 1962. It was Gretel versus Weatherly. So we were talking about this in a chat group that I'm involved with after the racing, and John Bertrand said, John Sturrock and his boys surfing past Weatherly with a US Ted Hood spinnaker. After that, the New York Yacht Club decided all sailcloth and sails had to be manufactured in the country of origin. Benny Lexon reckoned if we ever won the thing, we'd make it that all challengers would have to use kangaroo hide for their sails. So that's where that story came from, and that was the first time that we had 1-1 on day one of the America's Cup. There's a few other examples. I ended up going down a rabbit hole as well this afternoon. It happened in 1980. It happened in 1992. When it was America 3 versus the Italians. That's the first and only time that the Italians have won a cup match. And today is the second time now in history that the Italians have won a match in the America's Cup match. Because, of course, in 2000, when it was Emirates Team New Zealand versus Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, the first time in America's Cup history there'd been no American team in the final. It was actually 5-0 to Emirates Team New Zealand as the defenders. So there's so much history that's unfurled today, which was incredibly exciting, especially if you're a die-hard Cup fan. So I thought we'd just get straight into it. The day kicked off. Wearing masks, of course, under level 2 restrictions in New Zealand at the moment. And look at all of those spectators. Definitely the biggest spectator fleet that we've seen. This boat was hilarious. I had them in my warm-up show thanks to Sue Bunce. And there's Dalton watching on. It was a big day indeed. And all of the chat was that the Emirates Team New Zealand guys were going to be untouchable, essentially. So, lo and behold, out we go for race one. Emirates Team New Zealand started to windward of Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, and started sailing over them. They were fast. A luff attempt by Jimmy Spithill, deemed no penalty, and a big bear away to try and build speed at that moment. Emirates Team New Zealand were never headed, and they ended up winning that race by quite a margin. I think it was 27 seconds from memory. So it did actually concertina a little bit, not as much as the second race. Very, very interesting. I'll just get the stats up for you now. It's a little bit blurry, sorry, because it's off my TV screen. So it was 31 seconds, in fact, back to Italy. And it did concertina from up to 42 seconds at one point, I believe. Upwind speed, just a click to New Zealand. Downwind speed, again, just a click to New Zealand. Max speed, actually, with Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. And we're starting to see this, that the trailing boat actually has the top speed. This is the pattern we've been seeing now. Remember that New Zealand entered from the port side in the first race, which Tor and I chatted about this morning, and we've spoken about it multiple times before, and that is the ability for the port entry boat to not do as many maneuvers, so they seem to end up in a position of power. You can see the line here, and they had this on the broadcast where the luff was, and there was a massive amount of speed loss there, and that's probably what the race came down to. There's 11 tacks there to Italy, as I mentioned. That's literally that pre-start tack, and 8 jibes, so it's definitely becoming more tactical to be that port entry, because then in race 2, when it was 1-0 to Emirates Team New Zealand, well, out they came and just had a blinder, didn't they, the Italians? Here we go. Leading back to the start, a late dip from Emirates Team New Zealand wasn't enough. They were late to the line, and Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli did a fantastic job to cover them. Did not give them 1 inch. The lead did go out to 24 seconds at one point.
I'm proud of you.
Let's just listen to that again. It's actually beautiful. Just listen to Kiko here. We'll play it again.
That's a good one, Jimmy. Bravo. I'm proud of you.
How cute is that? That's a good one, Jimmy. I'm proud of you, says Kiko. So 1 each. And as I mentioned in the preamble, this is the second time ever in history that the Italians have won a race in the cup match. It's the third time they've been through to the cup match, but they were defeated 5-0 in 2000 when they were actually last in the America's Cup. So that was America 3 versus Il Moro di Venezia, and the US actually went on to win 4-1, which was in the 1992 Cup in San Diego. So some interesting facts there, but that was race number 2. Let's have a little bit of a look at the stats from race number 2. As I mentioned, here's the speeds. Upwind speed, just a tiny bit to Italy. Downwind speed actually went to Emirates Team New Zealand, which I think we could all see, but the Italians managed to stay in between Emirates and the mark. It was actual match racing. We saw some tacking drills. Look at these tacks. 19 tacks to 16 tacks, and that was on that second beat when we saw a left-hand turn to Luna Rossa. They ended up doing 3 more tacks over on the right-hand side to the tacks that New Zealand did. So even though they entered from the port side, they did more tacks, but less jibes. So that's that pre-start versus the second beat, where they lost quite a bit of distance. More distance sailed by Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli there. So no doubt they'll be checking that out in serious detail overnight, because they're going to be looking for every single game they can get. There's no doubt that Emirates Team New Zealand aren't quick, but they're not unbeatable. So it could still go either way. As I said this morning, they've both got their strengths and they've both got their weaknesses. Let's have a little bit of a listen to the interview with Kiko post-racing.
Well, we knew that when we heard rumors about Team New Zealand being 10 knots faster was a clear mistake. And we knew that Luna Rossa had improved since last time we met Team New Zealand. We were not sure if there was a small gap, any gap, or So today I think was a very positive day, because in conditions when Team New Zealand should have destroyed us, they didn't. The boat Luna Rossa was going very well today. We did a few mistakes like Team New Zealand did, and we just have to analyze and get better for the next sailing day. It's very important. It's actually fundamental because we can really feel the crowd behind us. We can really feel the passion of the Italians pushing the boat forward. Well, I think that we are not leaving it without emotions. I think we try to really focus on our job. That's a different story. And Jimmy is a great example of that. He can really focus on the goal and not get distracted. And I think that's very important, and we all have to learn from him. It's sometimes it's split seconds decisions, and especially off the starting line, half second in, half second out. We are talking about meters, and well, we clearly didn't have a great start on the race one, but the important thing is that we fight back and we recover, and I think that's the most important thing.
I think that's the most important thing too. They fought back and they recovered, and it was so lovely to hear what he said to the crew. It was just delightful, actually. But also really great to see them refocus, because now it's 1-1, and this is the best possible outcome for sailing. I even saw the America's Cup story on the news in Australia tonight. In Australia! There's not been any mention of the America's Cup in Australia for I don't know how long. It definitely wasn't mentioned to do with Bermuda. So how good's that? One each way. And it's actually on mainstream Channel 9 News, actually. So that was fantastic. That's beautiful for sailing. I love it. So next in the queue, we've heard from Kiko. We've reviewed race 1 and race 2. So you can watch that back if you've only just joined us. Here's Pete Burling with his review of the day. And gosh, Emirates are quick. It's going to be a hard ask for Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, but as I said, it can be done.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty incredible to see how many Kiwis are getting behind this event. You know, it means a lot for us as a team to be, the home team here. To be putting on this event and welcoming the other teams down. And I don't know how many thousand boats were out on the water today, but it was pretty incredible going out, towing past them all, and it was even hard to find a good spot to get through the spectators to get onto the racecourse. So it was pretty incredible to see how many Kiwis are getting behind the event. We probably learned what we already knew. We knew we'd have a really good challenge from Luna Rossa. We knew they'd improved a lot since the World Series, but I think after today we also know that what we have to do to keep winning yacht races, and it's just sailing well. We definitely didn't feel like we put our best foot forward in that second yacht race, but on that last lap we started to string together a few shifts and actually sail the boat a bit better, and the margin came down pretty quick. So we're really happy with how we're going, but plenty of hard work to do over the next however many races to get the job done. I think each team would say the same. It's definitely a combination of a whole heap of different things will end up meaning one team is ahead at the end of the day. We felt like we sailed a reasonable race in that first race, but still had a lot of things to improve on. And in the second race, obviously, we gave them a bit of head start off the line and couldn't quite get back through. So now we've got a lot to go back and learn. It's obviously been the first time we've raced for 3 months, so we're definitely chipping off a little bit of rust, but really happy with how we checked in. I think you just have to look at the level that both teams are getting to. Any mistake and you're not going to win the yacht race. So it's really just trying to make sure you put your best foot forward, you do all the little things well, and we're really happy with the boat we've got in the shed there, and we know it can do what we need to do.
And what they need to do is go out on Friday. It's not tomorrow. It's so confusing because usually when we have day 1, day 2 backs it straight up. But day 2 will be Friday, our time. I'm in Australia, if you haven't guessed. But day 2 will be 2 races. Very much looking forward to it. And I think it's a reverse entry, but we'll check that out in just a minute. Let's go back on what Pete Burling said there about they're chipping off some rust. That was day 1 with some rust, as he mentioned. They haven't been racing, but they have had access to all of the data. So what they were expecting of Luna Rossa, basically they're saying eventuated. They didn't quite know how it was going to play out, but it was an interesting starting box, that's for sure. So we no doubt on Friday we'll see some fiery action, given that Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli know they can keep a handle on Emirates Team New Zealand if they start in front. Emirates Team New Zealand, could Luna Rossa come from behind? I'm not sure. The stats say otherwise, but in lighter conditions, that could be a different story. This is just one band of conditions that we've seen today as well, and we've got to remember that because it's looking like the forecast is going to be lighter on Friday, lighter again on Saturday, potentially lighter again on Sunday, but we are a little ways out, so let's not get too wound up in the long range forecast. What we can do instead is have a listen to what Jimmy had to say after racing, and then I've got a fun clip for you after that.
No, I think the first one we really saw an opportunity. We thought we could have got a penalty on Team New Zealand. We went for it and it didn't come off. I actually haven't had a chance to even look at it to see how close it was. So yeah, we have to go back and look at the drawing board. But the important thing about that was the ability to bounce back, because that's a very tough situation for a team to be in straight off the bat to lose the first one. Something we've worked pretty hard at Luna Rossa about is the composure. The ability for the team to purely focus on the next race was, I think, a huge step forward for us and very satisfying. Well, I think the assessment is you've got to look at the scoreline, and the scoreline suggests both teams can win races. That's a great thing. That's confidence for our guys. I think we've taken a good step since the Christmas period when we last raced the Kiwis. But we need more. You know, you got to constantly develop in the America's Cup. You know, it doesn't just stop now. And the way we spend tomorrow will be fundamental for the rest of the series, because unless we get a weather delay, it's the only day where we really get our hands on the boat. Well, we're definitely doing a couple of things to the boat. I mean, the guys are into that now. For the sailing team, we'll be very, very critical, very candid on our own performances, our decisions, what we did well, what we could have done better, with the whole goal of just trying to grow stronger as a unit. And there's definitely a lot of things we want to look at. So yeah, we'll debrief that and wrap it pretty hard tomorrow. I believe the fastest boat will win the America's Cup. So it's up to both teams. They're obviously still in the search for boat speed, trying to get faster and get one up. Conditions, we've only really seen one set of conditions today. You know, maybe a little bit more wind in the second race than the first race, but we haven't seen the other ends of the spectrum yet. We haven't seen the super light air. We haven't seen the really windy stuff we saw, let's say, in the semi-finals. So, yeah, it's fascinating. You know, we're all fascinating to see how the boats go in a different set of conditions now. Yeah, I mean, look, when you wake up morning of going into your first America's Cup race, it's just such a privilege, you know, and it really is all that hard work and time you put in with the team. It's just, man, you realise how fortunate you are and just how important it is. It's fantastic to see all the families and the spectators and all the supporters down, all your teammates, and yeah, it's a great day.
And that last comment was based on the fact that Jimmy Spithill is now competing in his fourth America's Cup match, which is exceptional when we think the country, Italy, that he's representing has only been in 3 cup matches itself. He's been in 4, which is, pretty amazing, shall we say. So, that said, he is no stranger to having a little bit of fun. Check out this little snippet that we got in the VNR. Not quite sure if they knew it was left in there or not, but this is quite funny. It's like a blooper. You ready?
Jimmy, let's just kick off with that first race. I mean, not the best start.
Maybe better at focusing on the boat than in the media pit. I love that. I love it so much. We always have a little bit of fun, and I'm jealous that I'm not there to actually do some interviews in the media pit. But gosh, what a day. What a day it was. We've had a few questions about whether Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli will be faster in the light air. Well, yes. If what we're looking at is correct, they have a larger foil package. We heard on the broadcast today, Lee McMillan said he thinks it's 30% larger than the foil package on Emirates Team New Zealand. If that's correct, even if it is larger or smaller, arguably a larger foil package should mean you foil sooner. So if it's really light air, they should foil sooner. And we saw that in the Prada Cup final, race 1 against Ineos Team UK, I believe, when Ineos didn't get up on the foils for the actual race start. So yes, they should be faster in the light stuff. But if Emirates Team New Zealand are able to get up on the foils, then they should arguably have less drag and be faster. Makes sense? So it'll be really interesting. It's the same as having a larger sail up. You will go faster earlier, but then you won't have minimal drag once it starts to get up range. So we saw that in the first race today. Luna Rossa actually changed down to a J2, which was the same as Emirates Team New Zealand. I believe they'd been on that for both races, and it looked to me that Luna Rossa changed down. I'm not sure of the specific numbers, but it looked like they changed down a half. So I'll try and check in with somebody who has a little bit more knowledge and had a little bit more eyeballs on exactly what was happening. We can only surmise from the images that we see and from the vision that you guys are all seeing as well, because we're not on site, which is a little bit different to normal. Now, you heard what Kiko said earlier when they were crossing the finish line. So he said, "Good one, Jimmy. I'm proud of you," as they crossed the line, which was very adorable. This is a cute photo that I've been sent as well, which is right next to where Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli dock off. And they have the right eye is Jimmy and the left eye is Kiko. My rake, my trav, which is what they say just before they tack, which is very cute. So this is obviously all the kids of the Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli team, which is very adorable, cheering them on. So I loved seeing that, as well as all of the Red Sox photos. You might have seen that in our broadcast this morning with Tor. There were even people out on the water with their Red Sox on. It was beautiful to see that. Little shout out to Peter Blake, effectively, who in the 1995 Cup, I'll see if we can zoom in on this one a bit, he didn't race one race, and with these Red Sox, and now the whole country wears red socks when they're cheering on their America's Cup team, which is just beautiful. So we saw little messages to both teams everywhere, which was just spectacular. And if in doubt, remember that we all want to be more Poppy. We do have a message from Poppy, everybody, for tomorrow, but I'm going to save it for my show. Not tomorrow, for our show on Friday. I might save it because she's picked who she thinks is going to win the America's Cup. So we have that for you on Friday when we next touch base.
Tor here for Adventures of
with
a Sailor
Tor.
Girl. I've got a little fan here who is getting behind one of the teams today. What's your name?
Poppy.
And who do you want to win today, Poppy?
The Mountain's Cup.
Poppy's always cheering for the America's Cup and the best outcome for sailing, which is fantastic. Or maybe not. You wait until you see what we've got for you on Friday morning. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring you a recap of everything that we've had so far. We've been so lucky to have some amazing guests on our rap shows, such as John Bertrand, Tom Slingsby, Andrew Powfrey. We've had Kiko on, which has been fantastic. Tom Spithill as well. I always have to chat to him around the America's Cup just to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to put all of those together for you. So even though we're having a day off from racing, you can have a day of catching up on the action that we've had and some of the chats that we've had with our amazing guests. Remember, in the meantime, you can follow us on all your social media channels. We have stacks of content coming out on our Facebook page, which is Adventures of a Sailor Girl, or at Sailor Girl HQ on all your channels. There's our Instagram channel. You can catch us on Twitter. We were live tweeting today, so great to have a lot of you joining us. We are also on YouTube, so a shout out to anybody on YouTube that's watching this, and we're commentating the racing on Clubhouse as well. I'll keep you posted tomorrow on what you can expect over the next few days. But the schedule, I think I have the scorecard in here. I might not have the schedule. The scorecard so far, as we know, is 1 each. So that's definitely, I love that. Look at that, 1 each. So good, which means we have at least 6 more races to go. And the schedule I have somewhere, but it's from 16:15 local time. So if you're in Europe or the UK, I'm very sorry. We'll have our player up, which you can watch on YouTube. Remember, if you are in Australia, it'll be at 2:15 and you can watch for free on KO Freebies. I had so many screens happening today. It was fantastic. Next time I'm going to get a photo. I feel like I'm almost at virtual reality with the port entry, the starboard entry, the actual broadcast in front of me, the statistics. It's getting a bit extreme whilst I'm commentating and tweeting. It's It's definitely next level, but enjoying every single second of it. Hope you had a great day. I can't wait for more racing on Friday, and we'll see you then. This is Nick Douglas for Adventures of a Sailor Girl. This is your AC Chat and Rap Show.